Hi everybody, Vanquished Angel here. I'm shooting several videos in one day, so sorry about that. I work a lot. Um, and so this video here is going to be about a concept that's in American culture, and I didn't really have a way to put a name to it until I read the book Deep Economy by Bill Mckibben. And he referred to two birds in a tree. One bird was more, the other bird was better. I don't remember the exact concept, but it was a great book. So if you can read it, have access to it, go ahead and read it. But essentially, the concepts are more is always better, bigger is always better. And these are in American culture. So what that essentially means is getting more of something is always better. Like you see this on sales or that people will just buy tons of this crap. Like a good example of that is my parents. My parents would, now two people in this house, because we were moved out. They have a chest freezer in the front. They have a big family-sized refrigerator and freezer combo, and then they had two more chest freezers out in the porch. And that's only because I had them put it out there because we live in an area with a lot of winter, so it caused them to run less. But that's not the point. The point is that they would buy these meat or something on sale or store all this food. And that's a great idea in theory, but there's only two of them. They're not going to eat through that many freezers of food, and therefore it gets freezer burned. So let's say they buy, I don't know, 20 frozen pizzas or something, and they store them in this freezer, but by the time they get to them, 10 are freezer burned. So now those pizzas are double in cost of what they initially were because they had to throw the other 10 away. How common is this for my parents? It's very common. So in this sense, more is not always better. And you can apply that to a lot of things. More space in a house isn't always better. More isn't always better. Like more clothes, that's awesome to have a lot of clothes, I guess, but when it comes down to clothes you're never wearing, there are people out there that could use those clothes. More is not always better. And then let's say you have to move. Now like my parents, full closets of clothes everywhere because more is always better with my parents. So, now we gotta move them to another house. Like, we gotta move these freezers and all that food and then all these freaking clothes and all this junk my parents collect. My parents were pack rats. And so moving them was such a pain, and you had to rent so many trucks, and the cost was just so much higher, and then you got mileage and all this crap, and it doesn't really save you any money either. To an extent, it just doesn't save you any money. More is not always better. You don't need that bigger pizza. You just don't need more all the time. And another concept is bigger always being better, like the bigger house or whatever. Or again, the bigger pizza. Just because you can get a bigger pizza and it might be a better deal doesn't mean you should get the bigger pizza. The bigger car is not always the best car. On and so forth. And these are concepts we struggle with so much here in America. And what does that have to do with efficiency and minimalism? I think that's fairly obvious. You don't always need the bigger anything. For instance, a good example is my fridge. My fridge is a 7 cubic foot Avanti fridge. I bought it back when Avanti first started making those fridges, and it's awesome. It's more than enough room for me, more than enough room for another person. If I move another person in, 2 people could easily use that fridge, possibly even 3. It's larger than those other apartment-sized refrigerators with those stupid freezers inside the refrigerator. It's bigger than those. Then it has its own freezer compartment, which is about 4 foot capacity, 4 cubic feet. And then the rest is the fridge, or maybe it's the other way around. The fridge is 4 cubic feet and the freezer's 3. I don't know. But that's all I need. I don't need anything bigger. And why is that fridge work for me? Well, because I pay my own electricity. So if I had bigger, I would need more electricity. I would be paying out more electricity per month. And a lot of times that's not a small amount. Refrigerators can cost up to $40 a month, depending on how old they are and their size. So this one works for me. It's 315 kilowatts per year. There are some slightly more efficient ones now, but the difference really isn't worth it yet to me. But it is what it is, you know? Like, I don't need a bigger fridge. So in my case, bigger isn't better. And in a lot of people's cases, bigger isn't better. My parents, more is not always better. My parents don't need that many freezers, and they didn't need the maximum size either. So bigger was not better in their case either, even though they think it is. So my next bit of advice here to save money, save headaches, save time, save the planet: bigger is not always better. More is not always better. All right, thank you for listening. Have a good day, and I appreciate you.